9 days and nights of continuous audiobook. They're all available on my blog. But I just wanted to invite you all to, if you're interested in having a class or a Zoom discourse on the Bhagavad Gita, you're welcome to attend. See this little QR code on the back of this? I have it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, just like Pralad used to do in 26th Avenue in New York City. And at 6 o'clock at night for 40 minutes, because Zoom doesn't allow you to do more than 40 minutes unless you have to pay them. But I've gone through, with one of the members here, it's a very small group, sometimes some people come and go, but one member is Michael Floor, and he is like a rock. He's come every single time, 51 or 52 Zoom sessions, 40-minute Zoom sessions. We're up to the 7th chapter right now, the knowledge of the absolute. And this is a book for your information. It's a book that's spoken by Krishna himself on the on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. We have any pictures of Krishna here on the battle? But he spoke it to his friend and Arjuna, and they were about to engage in a huge battle, and Arjuna had to pick sides. Or Arjuna had to, actually, each side had to pick Krishna. That one side, it was kind of like a fratricidal war, kind of like the Civil War. One side was, you ever heard of the Game of Thrones? Anybody? Unless you've been living under a rock for the past 10 years, probably have heard of it. But they were all vying for the throne of the entire world. Actually, back then, 5,000 years ago, there was only one ruler who ruled the entire planet. This whole planet was called Bharat, and there was a king named Bharat who ruled the entire, I don't know how they did it, maybe they communicated with ravens or something, who knows. But anyway, somehow or other they did it. And but anyway, Arjuna spoke this our Krishna spoke to Arjuna because he didn't want to kill his friends and his relatives, and his martial arts teacher and his grandfather were on the other side. And all his cousin brothers were on the other side. And so they all wanted the throne, and so he didn't want to fight with them because he was attached, And so Krishna, he said, it's your duty because you're a warrior, you have to fight to protect the people. And so he convinced Arjuna to fight. And so we go through this one verse after another. It's very informal. If you want to take part, on the back of this goes to my blog. If you point your cell phone at this thing, it'll say, hey, you want to go there, and you press it, and there on the first post, there's a little description of the Coexist Kirtan Center, which is my Kirtan Center. We don't have as many programs as here, so I just go where the action is, But we're going to have actually a program on the 17th, I believe, or what is... no, that's Gorpani. But on Nrsingadev's appearance day, this is Nrsinga. This is my deity here. We're going to be singing a little song for Nrsingadev. And he is a half-man, half-lion incarnation of God himself. He came to protect his devotee. So we're going to have, on his appearance day, every year we have a ceremony. This Murti belonged to my spiritual master, and so, and he had his little devotee, Pralad. He was only 5 years old, and his father was a big demon. Although Pralad was a saintly devotee, and his father didn't like anything about Vishnu because demons are very, very inimical to Vishnu. And so what happened was, back to the main thing is about this Pralad. I just read a chapter about Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya. You see this big picture on the left here of all these devotees that are chanting. It's like chanting in the streets. They were, they have that song, from New York to LA, chanting in the streets. I'll give you one thing. Unless they're drunkards, there's nobody that chants in the streets like the Hare Krishnas. Hare Krishnas actually chant in the streets, and they have fun doing it. So this is Lord Chaitanya in the yellow dhoti there. And he had a very nice disciple named Haridas Thakur. And Haridas was the acharya of the holy name. He was the example. But he was born in a very low family, according to Vedic culture. The Muslims, he was born in a Muslim family. But Lord Chaitanya didn't care, even though it was very strict back then, he didn't care what family you were in, he didn't care what race or religion or creed you were belonging to. Everyone was welcome in Lord Chaitanya's movement. And this is a subset of Lord Chaitanya's movement. It's been continuing for the last 500 years. This is like the Middle Ages, the Renaissance age, the 1500s. And so it's going to continue on for another 10,000 years in this degraded age that we're in. It's really bad right now. It's just going to get worse. I mean, sorry to tell you, but that's just the way the ages cycle. And then you'll have another golden age in another 427,000 years, I believe. Then there'll be then Krishna himself will come and kill everybody, all the demons, and they'll start a new golden age. But Lord Chaitanya is like an incarnation of a Yuga avatar, which means he's the incarnation of chanting the holy name, which is the Yuga Dharma of this age. Dharma means religion. And so the only way to achieve Krishna consciousness or God consciousness in this age is by chanting Hare Krishna. And that little boy Pralad, who is the devotee of Nrsimhadev, who came to save him when his father tried to kill him, was an incarnation of Haridas Thakur, believe it or not. And so I was just reading this chapter. It's a 4-hour chapter, and I just wanted to. This one Smarta Brahmana, they had kind of like the Pharisees back then, and they didn't like, he was a demon, he was an envious Brahmana. Even though he was dressed like a Brahmana, he didn't like Haridas because he was a pure Vaishnava. And this Brahmana started accusing him, why are you chanting out loud? Where in the scriptures does it say you can chant out loud? And Haridas told him, actually Pralad Maharaj says in the one of the Puranas, he said that, let me just quote it here, I've got one of these fancy watches so I can read it. But one who loudly chants the holy names of the Lord is 100 times greater than one who chants silently. You can chant silently too, for yourself. It's called japa, the mantra called Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. If you do that for yourself, either silently or to your mind, so you can hear it. The main thing is to hear, because the sound is not different from the name itself, and the name is not different from Krishna. And so if you chant Krishna's name, Krishna is dancing on your tongue. Just like sometimes we want to get up and dance. Krishna will dance with you, and he'll dance on your tongue if you chant the holy name. And so, just like it says in the Christian tradition, whether two or more of you gathered in your name, there I am in the midst of them. And so Krishna says, I'm with my devotee who's chanting. So Haridas said, just in answer to this guy, he said, one who chants the holy names of the Lord is 100 times greater than one who chants silently, because those who chant silently purify only themselves, whereas while those who chant loudly purify themselves as well as those who hear them. And that's from Pralad Maharaj, that little boy who lived millions of years ago in India, from the Naradiya Purana. So it's very, this is the congregational chanting of the holy name. This is what our movement is. And this movement is predicted to go on for the next 10,000 years. And it started by Lord Chaitanya. He's called the Golden Avatar, and there's like an ocean of prema, or pure love of God, that has inundated the whole world. And we have to take advantage of it. It's so wonderful and it's just like a little tiny golden age in this iron age of Kali. So we can float above the waves of the Kali Yuga, which is an ocean of faults on the ocean of prema that was started by chanting, congregational chanting, the holy name of Krishna. And it was Lord Chaitanya's avatar incarnation was predicted even in the Bhagavatam 4,500 years before he even appeared, and it says, those who are intelligent will gather together and chant Sankirtan, congregational chanting like we're doing tonight. And he appears with his associates, see all those people there. He appears with his weapons, but he doesn't come to kill the demons like Krishna did. He comes to kill their demonic mentality. And we need a lot of that right now, because there's a lot of demons in this world. They're creating havoc. The Ukrainian devotees are suffering like anything. They're in Mariupol. They're huddled in the basements, in the parking decks, freezing cold. They don't have any water. They don't have any light. They don't have any heat. They don't have any food. So it's a pretty serious situation. But that's the nature of Kali Yuga. Anyway, let's chant together. And so that's why I wanted to invite you to, if you want to take part in these things. Prabhupada said, you read my books, that was what he left, his legacy. He came over here with the Srimad Bhagavatam from India with no money, and he just wanted to spread, on the order of his spiritual master, he tried to spread this knowledge of Krishna consciousness. And so if you want to take part in this Zoom class, it doesn't cost anything, it's very informal. You don't have to read, we take turns reading and answering questions or whatever. But if you want to just check it out, just, point your phone camera at that at 6 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, or all three of them, hopefully. And maybe we'll get some more people. We could have an unlimited amount of people. And it's really, really enlivening to sit with devotees and talk about Krishna. Because it's like this, it's kirtan, So I'm just going to sing one song, because otherwise it's getting pretty late.